Hello, and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
I'm Jess. This is Storm of Swords.
That's right.
The end.
This is the end of A Storm of Swords. Yeah, today we're going to be covering the final chapter of... This is the third book in this series? Yes.
Yeah, it is.
The final chapter of the third book in the Song of Ice and Fire series, the Epilogue.
What? This is the furthest I've read in the series.
I think I knew that.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't even picked up the first book when we started this podcast, so...
Exciting!
Alright. What are we drinking today?
I'm drinking Christmas tea, it's called. Black tea with cinnamon and clove, apparently.
Oh, okay. Is that new?
Nope. I'm still going through my Christmas teas that
I don't mean like you just bought it new. I mean like, have you had it on the podcast before?
I think so. Yeah. I drank up all my apple cinnamon tea, sadly. That was good stuff.
Well, at least I don't have to hear you say that anymore. Apple cinnamon tea, apple cinnamon tea, apple cinnamon tea.
It's so good!
Okay, I am drinking a David's tea called Mother's Little Helper. Have you had that one?
No.
It's described as minty, citrusy, and relaxing.
Ooh. Is it all of them?
I mean, yeah. So it's an herbal tea. It has peppermint, lemongrass, hibiscus, rose hips. Is that how you say that? Rose hips?
I mean, I guess.
Chamomile. That's definitely how you say that. Valerian
Sounds
root.
right.
Cornflowers. Okay, is that normal? And natural peppermint flavoring.
Oh, but not natural peppermints.
It does have organic peppermint in it.
Oh god.
Yes.
Is it just like peppermint oil or something? What is peppermint flavoring?
Natural peppermint flavoring. I don't know. Why do you have to add that as an extra ingredient if you have peppermint as an ingredient?
It wasn't strong enough? Just the leaf?
Oh.
More peppermint flavor!
Yeah, maybe it's like a concentrated peppermint juice that they add in. I don't know. But yeah, it tastes alright. It's like fine.
Okay.
Oh, this is how it's described on the back. The great escape. Need a little relaxation? Try running for the shelter of this mother's little helper. One sip and you'll feel like you've spent the day at a spa. Well,
nice.
I certainly don't feel like I've spent the day at a spa. I can tell you that much.
Ready for the epilogue?
Should we do like a quick summary of where everyone left off, or should we just... I mean, I kind of wonder.
Okay, I can tell you how everyone ends.
Yeah.
John is elected Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Mm-hmm.
Dany decides to stay in Marine to rule, because they need her. With Bran, Sam and Gilly emerged from the well at the Night Fort, and they show Brad and his friends how to get to the other side, where Cold Hands is waiting to transport him. Davos saves Edric from Melisandre from, I guess, being sacrificed.
Oh damn, I actually forgot about that.
And reads Stannis a letter before Stannis kills him for treason.
Well, we didn't see him kill him, but that seemed like the intention.
That was how it made you feel like it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Jaime denies Cersei's manipulation and gives Brienne his sword that Tyrion had made for him, naming it
Oathkeeper.
Jesus, I wrote Oathbreaker, and I'm like,
what?
That is not right.
No, the opposite.
Yeah, I'm like, not what happened. Alternative universe. Yeah, naming it Oathkeeper and sending her to find and protect Sansa. Tyrion, Jaime, and Varys help him escape. Jaime confesses that Tysha was not a whore. And in a rage, Tyrion tells Jaime that he killed Joffrey. And then also kills, not also, and then he kills Lord Tywin before he takes off with Varys.
And Tysha was his first wife.
His very first wife. She wasn't a whore, she was just a girl. Arya and the Hound bump into Polliver and the Tickler. They duke it out. The Hound is injured. Arya gets Needleback. Sandor's wounds get infected and Arya abandons him. She finds a small port town and gets on a ship heading to Braavos. Catelyn, they all die.
Catelyn fucking dies.
All of them die.
Catelyn gets fucking murdered.
Brutally. Throat slit. Thrown naked into the river.
Fun.
So fun. Robb is beheaded. And then Grey Wind is beheaded. And Grey Wind's head is sewn onto Robb's body.
And he's paraded around because fun.
King in the North.
Play with my dollies.
So with Sansa, Littlefinger kills Lysa Arryn after she tries to kill Sansa, I guess, in a jealous rage. And we find out that Peter has been behind the entire war between the Starks and the Lannisters. And I've dubbed them BBEG.
The BBEG.
Big
Nice.
Bad Evil One.
Yeah, so just a quick reminder as to, or explanation as to why that's a thing. How he started everything. He convinced Lysa to poison her husband, Jon Arryn, in order for them to be together. I suppose was his lie to her.
Yeah. But it was to get, I guess, Ned Stark separated from Catelyn or something? Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Maybe he knew that Ned would be Robert's first choice after Jon?
That makes sense, but then why wouldn't he have gone, like, straight to Winterfell?
Maybe he wanted on getting Ned murdered!
Right, okay. There you go. Okay, that seems right. So yeah, it was, obviously we know already, the death of Jon Arryn that kind of kicked off this whole sequence of events that has become the Game of Thrones.
Basically how the first book starts. Shit!
And here we are.
Don't forget Sam.
Oh yeah.
Sam learns more of King Stannis' intentions and decides to manipulate Cotter Pike and Sir Denys into voting for Jon.
For Lord Commander.
And that all of the characters.
And Jon is voted Lord Commander.
Yep, that was the very first.
Oh.
I should have done which ones ended first.
Yeah, I already forgot the first things he said. Okay. Yep. And now here we are at the end. At the epilogue. I guess we can just launch straight into it.
Get into it. Alright. So there was this guy named Merrett Frey, I think. I'm pretty sure he's a Frey. And he's making his way up to Old Stones, which I looked up on the little map, and it's a little bit below the Twins. Pretty close.
And just east of the Iron Islands on the mainland.
Shit.
And featured in the Jenny of Oldstone song.
Oh! Wow. I knew it sounded familiar. Old Stones. Have we been there before? I don't know.
Popular song.
So, he thinks about how, with the wars and the floods, 2 harvests have been lost. When winter comes, a great many people are going to starve, and he hopes that he won't be one of them. He worries about outlaws sneaking up to him. He often complains about outlaws stealing his life. he seems to do so just to have some distinction amongst the phrase, as it's easy to be forgotten in that family. It appears he's an alcoholic who hates his life and the people in it. Apparently, some nameless outlaw did something to him that causes migraines. I think probably hit him. I think later on in the chapter we figure it out. But this is a big reason why he drinks, because he gets migraines.
Okay.
His mission is to bring someone named Peter Pimple, awesome name, back home safely, whom outlaws, the Brotherhood, are holding ransom.
Oh, we know these people.
Yeah, we sure do. When he offered to bring the ransom, his father had laughed at him, and he had to beg to be allowed to do this.
Oh, wait, why did he... Okay, a couple things. Peter Pimple, I feel like we've definitely heard this name before. Do you remember where?
I recognize the name. I don't remember where. For some reason, I'm thinking Arya, but I don't know if that's right.
Maybe like, when she was around the Brotherhood, they were talking about him or something.
Could have been.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And then also, why does Merrett want to be the one to go sort out the ransom?
I think, he's trying to secure his place amongst the phrase to get, like, in a higher position.
Okay.
Make sure that he won't starve to death when the winter comes.
He's trying to prove his value.
Yeah.
Okay, dude.
So as he rides up the hill, his migraine slowly worsens, which kind of triggered me because the way George described it sounded very familiar.
Oh shit.
It made me anxious because that pain is bad. And yeah, he's getting anxious because he knows his migraine is coming, and he worries that he might not be able to make it and will end up on the side of the road sobbing. Like, not being able to function at all. Which is relatable.
Damn.
Wait, migraines are bad.
What specifically about the description was?
It's like the being like feeling it coming on and being anxious, like, oh my god, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. And when it gets worse, I'm not going to be able to function. It's
okay.
You know, you really like the pain is a lot. Like you really cannot do much. Yeah.
Got it.
He thinks about Lord Frey, who is close to 92. He's going deaf and blind and has such bad gout that he has to be carried everywhere. Everyone knows that he doesn't have long left, and Merrett worries. Even though Lord Walder is a stubborn ass, he looks after all of his own. Lord Walder had been grooming his oldest son for 60 years to care about the entire family, but he ended up dying campaigning for Robb, and his son, Sir Ryman, is next to inherit. But this guy is a greedy man, and his sons, Edwin and Black Walder, are even worse.
Ooh.
I've heard of Black Walder for sure.
Yeah, that rings a bell.
He realizes that once Lord Walder dies, the Freys are going to fight amongst each other in a dog-eat-dog style. So I think this is also why he's doing this, because he's got to get some clout.
Yeah, this is surprising to hear, but it makes total sense. That Walder Frey, the main Walder Frey, is like the lesser of several evils.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy.
Like, he's a real douche canoe, but at least he's not, like, cruel or evil towards his own family. I guess he is cruel, but
he's definitely cruel.
He's not, like, violent or sadistic.
He makes sure that they're all,
self-serving?
He makes sure they're all fed and have assets, I guess.
Like every one of his family get looked after.
Maybe not like 100% equally. Like, I imagine he favors some family members over others, but
definitely.
At least he doesn't like ignore or try to, like, kick out or whatever.
Yeah, like he keeps his bastards around and their children and all that stuff. Like he's
Right, yeah.
so they're not actually Freys, they're still part of the family.
Right. Okay.
So Merrett had actually squired alongside Jaime Lannister. But while Jaime was covering himself in glory, fuck that guy, Merrett caught the pox from some whore, and then he was captured by a woman known as the White Fawn. What
What the hell? Okay.
Sounds familiar.
What the heck is the pox? Is that like an STD? Or does it
like,
literally mean like smallpox
like some
or
flu?
chickenpox?
I don't know. It could have been an STI, or it could have been the flu. Like any like sickness, he's like, get that ooze, that whore.
Oh yeah, I guess it's easy to blame it on the whore.
Yeah.
Well, it probably was the whore, but
Then this White Fawn captured him.
who the hell is that?
Yeah.
A
Who
woman?
are you? Yeah, it was a woman.
Okay.
And she had ransomed him. Oh yeah, but in the next fight he was in, he was hit in the head by a blow from a mace that broke his helm and left him unconscious for 2 weeks, which is what causes his migraines, and he can no longer fight because of it.
Oh damn.
Yeah.
That's like a straight up coma.
Yeah, like, that's really bad to be unconscious for 2 weeks.
Dude, it's
That's
even
bad concussed.
It's bad to fall asleep for like 20 minutes when you have a concussion. Can you imagine getting knocked out for 2 weeks? How does he even have like a brain left?
Right? How is he still functioning?
Yeah.
Barely with his migraines.
I mean,
Apparently.
I guess so. They seem pretty bad.
He might have like internal bleeding or whatnot.
He's definitely not healthy.
So, Merrett's second daughter is actually Fat Walda.
Oh my god!
And I think he briefly thought of it as giving him some worth. Like, she was like the only thing that he's succeeded in because Bruce Bolton chose her. So that's like the only thing that he thinks of himself as.
Gives him worth.
Yeah, but Lord Walder had told him that's because she's fat and Bruce wanted the fat dowry. Dowry? How the fuck do you say that?
The second time.
Dowry.
Dowry, yeah.
Ah. Yeah, so basically said it's not because she's anything special.
Yeah.
It's because he wanted that money.
Yeah.
He thinks of his humiliating one job during the Red Wedding, which was to get the Great John Umber so drunk that he would not be able to stand, but he had failed at that, as it had taken 8 of them to get him into chains, leaving 2 wounded and 1 dead.
Damn.
So his migraine is starting to get worse as he climbs.
Hold on. Were they purposefully trying not to kill the Great John then?
No, because they were intimidated by them. Like, they know he's a ferocious fighter. So they wanted to get him so drunk that he wouldn't be able to fight them.
But
they can easily kill him.
But you said they had to fight to get him in chains. So why are they putting him in chains instead of just killing him?
Ooh, good one.
Well,
maybe
yeah.
they did want to take him prisoner.
I guess that makes sense. He has some value.
Yeah.
Being like the head of the Umbers, I guess.
Maybe they would have ransomed. Or maybe keeping him will keep
Probably
the Umbers
just
from fighting
keeping him
them.
hostage, yeah. That makes sense.
So Merrett is adamant about bringing back Peter Pimple to get back on Lord Walder's good graces. So I guess he failed at this one job he had for the Red Wedding. And now Lord Walder looks down on him. Up! In the ruins of the Old Stones, he dismounts and leads his horse further in. So deep inside of the castle, he hears faint music. He finds a man in patched, faded greens, sitting on top of a tomb, playing a sad song on his wood harp. He asks Merrett if he recognizes him, as he played at his daughter's wedding.
Oh?
I guess Fat Walda's wedding, he played. Someone behind Merrett asks if he brought the gold, and he turns around to find himself surrounded. Merrett tells them that he has 100 golden dragons in his saddlebag, and one of the outlaws grabs it and checks the gold. He suddenly worries that they're going to take the gold and Peter. So he asks which one of them is Lord Beric. A one-eyed man says it's him, but another says no, it's his turn to be Lord Beric. The singer tells him that Lord Beric was needed somewhere else.
Okay.
Merritt's head is pounding now, and he knows that he's going to break down soon. He asks for his nephew, and they tell him that he's in the Godswood, and they will take him to him. So they lead him to the woods.
Hold on. Did you realize where they were before they start heading into the Godswood?
No, I just think they're in freaking Old Stones.
There was the tomb of, was it King Tristopher? Or Lord Tristopher? You didn't recognize that?
No. Who's that?
It's the place where Kat and Rob stopped, on their trek to the twins from River Run.
I recognize Old Stones from?
Well, not just Old Stones, like the specific area with the tomb.
Oh! I did not recognize that at all.
Well, do you remember it now?
Nope.
It was where... I'm pretty sure that's where Kat was trying to, like, argue with Rob about naming an heir. And that's when Rob was like, it's gonna be John.
Oh.
I think that's where that happened. But anyway, it's not relevant, but I thought it was interesting that we're revisiting that area with
It is interesting.
Yeah.
They lead him into the woods, each step worsening his migraine, and they find Peter Pimple hanging from his neck.
I didn't pay for a dead man.
Merritt's like, I brought the gold. Why'd you kill him? The singer admits that they lied. Then they seize Merritt's arms and they put a noose around his neck. Merrett says they wouldn't dare hang a fray, knowing far well how stupid he sounds.
Like you did see the guy in the tree, right?
Right? You did see Peter Pimple, yeah? The man in the yellow cloak says Peter said the same thing.
Ooh-wee.
Merrett says his father will send more than twice as much for him than for Peter. Liar. But the singer says he won't. He'll send 100 swords instead, and they'll have to catch them first. The singer says all he has to do is answer your question, and they'll let him go. Merrett promises anything. The singer says that they're looking for a dog that ran away. Merritt's like, what? The singer tells him that his name is Sandor Clegane. Merrett, his skull bursting open, tries to remember and says he did not see Clegane in the castle, but he might have been outside in the camps. The singer says that he had a child with him, a skinny girl or boy around 10. Merrett has no clue. The singer says, oh well, and they start to hang him. Merrett starts to squeal, begging that he answered their questions. And the singer says that I said I'd tell them to let you go, and he tells the guy in the yellow cloak to let him go. The man in the yellow says, fuck that, and they continue hanging him.
Oh, jeez.
Merrett starts to piss himself, and he begs again that he has children. One of the outlaws says, thanks to them, the young wolf never will. Merrett says that they had to kill him. They had to cleanse the stain on their honor. It wasn't murder, it was vengeance, which they have a right to.
Okay.
He tells them of all of the Freys who lost their lives that night. The man in the yellow cloak accuses him of sewing Rob's direwolf's head onto his body, but Merrett insists that it was his father, and that all he did was drink. He starts throwing other Freys under the bus while insisting all he did was drink, and he says that they have no witnesses to prove what they're saying.
Oh,
The singer says, the singer says that he is wrong and calls forth a woman. The outlaw's heart as she approaches and lowers her hood. For a moment, Merrett cannot breathe. He is confused. How is she alive? She saw them strip her naked and throw her body into the river. Her cloak hides the gash that should be on her neck, but her face, freaking horrible. I'm going to read the passage that describes her.
Oh.
Page 1128. Her cloak and collar hid the gash his brother's blade had made, but her face was even worse than he remembered. The flesh had gone pudding soft in the water and turned the color of curdled milk. Half her hair was gone, and the rest had turned as white and brittle as a crone's. Beneath her ravaged scalp, her face was shredded skin and black blood where she had raked herself with her nails. But her eyes were the most terrible thing. Her eyes saw him, and they hated.
Bruh.
Bruh! What is this zombie? The man in the yellow cloak says that she cannot speak, as the gash in her neck is too deep, but she remembers. He asks her if Merrett was part of the Red Redding. Lady Catelyn nods, and Merrett Frey is hanged.
What the
That is it.
Okay. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck? Is this just some, like... I always thought that she was supposed to come back as, like, a White Walker. Like, what is this black magic voodoo bullshit?
I don't... Like, I think in the other books it's described. Do you want to know? Or no?
What? I don't want the answer.
Okay.
What the
But
heck?
she's not a White Walker.
Okay, well, I know that
something
now.
more blasphemous.
Okay,
What
no
is
spoilers.
her name?
Who? Melisandre?
No. Lady Catelyn.
What do you mean, what's her
I
name?
guess she changes her name. Her name changes. For the thing she is now. Oh yeah. Lady Stoneheart.
Oh, that's what they call her?
That, I think she'll have that new name. But that's who she is now. And she's a hateful zombie running on pure revenge.
Okay.
I believe.
You believe. How much do you actually know? Don't tell me what you know.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
I know how she was resurrected,
Okay, yeah, don't tell me that.
but I won't tell you that. But that's about all I know is that now, like, that's her whole purpose. Zombie Catelyn.
Okay, so my guess... Let me throw this out there, my wild theory. When Nymeria pulled her out of the lake, she was, I think, clearly still just a body.
Yeah.
But then there were, like, footsteps and noises that scared Nymeria and her pack away, and I think that was maybe the Brotherhood? So they came marching along, they're like, yo, what the fuck? There's this dead woman lying here. And they flip her over and they're like, whoa! It's
What
Lady
the fuck?
Catelyn! Yo! She did! And so they hoisted her up and they took her to the little tiny lady on top of the hill.
Ew.
And they're like, can you help Lady
Little
Catelyn?
tiny lady.
And little tiny lady was like...
For a price!
She was like, okay, a pig's nose and a frog's burp and
Kiss my tongue!
a fingernail and deadly nightshade. And that's my guess for now. I think she resurrected Catelyn as a evil zombie thing.
Yes! I like that.
Thank you. But, like, what the hell does this mean?
Right?
Like,
who is this extra magical creature?
Can whoever resurrected her just do this on a whim? Like, whenever they
Right?
want? Or is this like a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing?
Why were they allowed to do this?
Yeah, and why did
To
they
a
choose
rotted
to?
corpse.
Why would they choose to do that?
Yeah.
Like, she's dead. What do they think bringing her back is going to accomplish?
Dead for days in the water. Like, her poor body.
Yeah, it said her like, skin was soft as pudding now or something.
Yeah, and like, her raked flesh is black.
Ew.
And like, rotted. Like, so her face is disgusting.
God, can you imagine, like, Sansa or Arya coming across her? Or Bran?
Oh my god, you know how, like, traumatizing it would be to see your parent like that?
Yeah! I mean, no, I don't know how traumatizing it would be, but I can imagine, yeah!
Yeah, that's fucking sick.
So, this is definitely an ending that's kind of like,
Whoa.
oh yeah, there's more. And leaves you with a lot more questions than answers. Hey everyone, just a quick aside. We just became affiliates of Buzzsprout, which is the hosting platform we use for our podcast. If you are interested in creating your own podcast, please consider using Buzzsprout. It made it easy to get our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and dozens of other streaming platforms. They also provide you with a podcast website, detailed analytics to see how your episodes are performing, and tons of guides on how to improve your listenability. And if you follow our link in the episode description, you will get a $20 Amazon gift card when you sign up for a paid plan, and it helps support our show. Thank you! Back to the episode. So, I'm glad you did some... like, research or whatever for this episode. So I was gonna do all mine yesterday, but then Mackenzie was like, yo, I had my baby, wanna come see? And I'm like, yup!
Yeah, no hesitation.
Yeah.
I am there.
Exactly. So, oh, and then I had Jake's nephew's birthday in the evening. So, we got literally no research done at all. Oopsie. So, you're gonna carry the rest of this episode, okay, Jess?
I got you. Okay. I took a lot of notes.
Oh, okay.
And so I can briefly summarize the entire book. I'm sure you've heard. You know a lot of stuff. Rising action, climaxes, and falling action.
Oh, fun!
You know what that shit is?
Yeah!
'Cause I'm like, that's just the book, bro, but Raven knows more than me. The build-up, the climax, and the fallout, I guess. The conclusion.
The conclusion. Or the resolution. Indeed.
So I'm gonna point out rising action points. Davos plans to assassinate Melisandre. Tyrion struggles with his family's ingratitude and condensation, and he and Sansa are married.
Wait, did you say condensation?
Condescension.
Oh.
Condescension. Yeah, I can't read.
Condescension. Is that a word?
Oh god. Is it?
I don't...
Wait, I'll Google. Help me, Google.
Condescension?
An attitude of patronizing superiority and disdain.
Okay. I've just never heard anyone say condescension. It's always been like condescending when talking about it. But yeah, it is a word.
Yeah. Alrighty. Arya escapes her captors.
Captors?
The Boltons.
The Boltons.
Robb Stark crosses the phrase by breaking his promise to them. Bran travels north to the Wall. Jon Snow escapes back to the Night's Watch after falling in love with the wildling Ygritte. Jaime has his hand cut off. Samwell kills one of the others as he makes his way back to the Wall. Daenerys gains an army and conquers Astapor, Yunkai, and Meereen.
Wow, so they all have, like, their own... I mean, it makes sense, obviously. They would all need their own, like, story beats. But that is, again, just so much to keep track of. It must be exhausting.
But I love it.
Like, it's hard enough doing it with one character.
Yeah, right? I know. So the climaxes are...
Wait, can I guess?
The weddings. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Whoops.
Well, I think for Robb and Cat, yeah, it would be the wedding. Is that right?
Both weddings.
Both weddings.
The assassinations. Both weddings.
Oh. Okay, well I meant specifically Robb and Cat's climaxes.
Specifically.
Though.
Yeah, that was a big climax.
And then, I guess, wait.
King Joffrey.
Yeah, but whose climax would that be? Just in general?
I guess Tyrion's... Maybe?
I guess it could be.
I would say the climaxes in the book are the both of the weddings, I guess. Don't they happen pretty close to each other?
They are pretty close to each other. So yeah, maybe of the book, that makes sense. But like for me, I feel like Tyrion killing Tywin has even more significance than Joffrey dying.
That was at the very end of his chapters.
That's true, but often the climax is actually very close to the resolution.
Yeah, okay. You know more than me.
I guess you can kind of think about it as a graph, which most people do. It starts off down at the bottom, the rising action comes up into a big hump, the climax is right at the top, and then it comes down, the falling action, and then resolution down at the bottom. So it's a nice, beautiful, perfectly symmetrical hump, right?
I guess so.
Well, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I see the graph.
Okay. So actually, that's how most people visualize it. But actually, the graph is usually a lot more sharp at the end. So it'll be like a nice slope at the start, the rising action. But once you hit the climax, there's a very hard drop off, and the resolution will actually not go all the way to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'll put a picture. Ew, stop sending me the pictures. Are those Lady Catelyn? Ew!
Fan art of her is pretty.
That is fucky.
Fucky.
Okay, so this is the graph of how most people visualize it, and I'm hoping I'm describing it well enough that people can actually
I'm pretty
that it makes sense.
They do.
But take a look at this one, and you'll see the rising action is a much slower sort of rise, and then the falling action is sharper and quicker.
Like what you get in these books. Very slow build.
But it's going to, in the one I just sent you, the resolution comes all the way down to the bottom again. That is not how it works. It's gonna look more like this, where the resolution's gonna be like in the middle. That doesn't go all the way to the bottom. That just wouldn't make sense.
Sure. Well, the story is still continuing, right? There's more books.
Yeah, but even if it was like the end.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah, it still wouldn't fall all the way to the bottom, because the bottom is kind of implying like nothing is happening, and that's where the rising action comes from. It's like coming from nothing to something. But when you are at the end, at the resolution, it's supposed to leave you with something, right? You don't end a book and just like it's nothing again. No, it's there and it's leaving you with something.
Sure.
So that's kind of how I see it.
Okay.
Anyway, climaxes.
So you say you think the climaxes are the Red Wedding and Tyrion killing his father?
Well, no. For the book, I think the climaxes are probably both weddings.
Uh-huh.
But I think if I'm just looking at Tyrion's story, like exclusively, I would think his climax would be the escape and killing his father.
Okay. Sure.
Does it
I won't
say?
argue with you.
Well, does your little do your notes say? No. Okay.
My notes say that's the climax.
Okay.
The following action: Sansa flees with Peter Baelish. Tyrion faces trial for Joffrey's murder. Jaime determines what has value to him as he is restored to command of the Kingsguard. Arya gets revenge on a few people as she travels with Sandor Clegane. Jon Snow commands the Watch in battle, and then Stannis offers to make him Lord of Winterfell. Samwell plots to have Jon Snow made Lord Commander of the Watch. Davos defies Stannis by sending away Edric Storm. And Daenerys must decide what to do with Ser Jorah and Ser Barristan after learning of their dishonesty.
Okay. I agree with most of those.
Ooh.
Again, like
I
would argue against the Tyrion one, because I don't think him waiting for trial is the falling action, because that would be 90% falling action, I feel like.
Yeah. So it's gonna jump up again with the epic conclusion of his chapters.
Yeah. And again, if I think his climax is the escape, then it wouldn't make sense for the falling action to come before that.
Yeah.
But I get why someone would argue that is the case. What was the other one that felt weird to me? Oh, yeah, I guess Sansa's. I guess I don't disagree with her falling action being escaping with Peter. I guess her climax could be the purple wedding. But, I don't know, for some reason to me, the purple wedding doesn't really feel like a climax for Sansa either.
But her escape was pretty interesting with Sir Dantos.
I think you're right. Like, to me, that still felt like rising action.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because it's not like things were getting calm after the wedding. Like, no, things were getting scarier.
True. What would you say your climax would be for you? Realizing Peter's bad guy?
Almost. I think it would be the confrontation with Lysa. That kind of feels like where things really come to the most intense moment. And then the falling action would probably be right after he shoves her out the moon door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then blames it on the bard.
Yeah, he goes, "Are you okay? Guy. Oh, go open the door. This guy just killed my wife." So yeah, again, that's a very fast, like, falling action and resolution. But, I mean, sometimes that's the way it goes, and it doesn't mean one way is better than the other. It's just how you tell the story.
Yeah. That's how it happened. But
that's what I think. What do you think? Like, if you think her climax would be the purple wedding, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that.
I think it is, because I feel like the whole beginning of her tale is the build-up to her escape. She's, like, planning her escape with Sir Dantos throughout the beginning of the book.
Pretty much.
Is she pawned to Loras? I think she is a little bit, and then she's married to freaking Tyrion. And then after that, she's really been plotting her escape. And it finally happens. For me, that's the climax. She's escaping. She's out of there. But it did end in a high note.
Wait, are you saying the escape is the climax, or I'm confused?
Yeah, I think her escape from King's Landing is the climax, personally.
Okay. That's fair.
For her.
Yeah. Again, that makes more sense to me than the actual wedding itself.
Yeah.
Okay, I would agree with that too.
I can tell you the major conflicts in this book.
Okay.
The Starks attempt to keep their cause from collapsing after alienating key allies.
The phrase.
Jaime faces a struggle with his identity.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Tyrion battles his family.
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Before you continue, I'm sure you've heard of this before. I feel like we literally studied this in elementary school. But have you heard of the different types of conflicts that can be in a story? Like man versus man, man versus nature, man versus himself?
I might have in high school, but I have no real memory of my English classes.
Well, it's very, very, very simple. So the first one is man versus man, which is like the obvious one person having a conflict with another person, like Harry Potter versus Voldemort.
Sure.
That's man versus man. And then there's man versus nature, which is what it sounds like. So it would be like 127 hours. Like, this guy is stuck in a rock.
Ooh.
And he needs
to
escape, or like any natural disaster story that you can think of.
True.
And then there's man versus himself, which which is probably the most complicated one.
Jaime.
But yeah, again, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a man struggling. Well, it doesn't have to be a man. It's just how it's described. A person struggling with themselves, their place in the world, who they are, and how that affects them mentally and affects the people and the things around them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I maybe start over with the conflicts, and I want to see if we can name them all.
Okay. The Starks attempt to keep their cause from collapsing after alienating key allies.
Okay, that one's actually interesting. How would you describe that one?
Shit, I would say man versus man. Shall I?
Yeah.
Because it's involving more people.
Yeah.
They fucked over comrades.
That one
allies.
I would say it's both man versus man and man versus himself. Because I think it's very much, like you said, it's like the Starks against the Lannisters, the Starks against the Freys, like, there's all these sort of outwards conflicts like that. But then there's also, like, Rob's struggle to be like his father, to be honorable, and live up to what everyone's expecting him to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you could call that man versus himself.
Yeah.
And then it's also very much like Cat versus Rob as well.
Yeah.
So you could still call that man versus man.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you're looking at it as the Starks as a whole, then maybe that is man versus himself. Anyway, fun to think about.
Alrighty. Jimmy faces a struggle with his identity versus self.
Yep.
Tyrion battles his family. Man versus man. Jon Snow deals with his own identity struggle as he contends with the wildlings. Man versus self. Because he went through a whole period where he was like, am I betraying the Night's Watch? Am I a traitor? Am I a turncloak?
It does have the elements of both.
Mm-hmm.
Again. But yeah, I think you're right.
And then Daenerys fights against the slave masters of Slaver's Bay. Man versus man.
Indeed.
Indeedy.
There's not a lot of man versus nature in this one, but there is some here and there.
Here and there, yeah. Yeah.
When they go north.
Yeah. Yup.
Anyway, go on.
Okay. There are 5 themes
Ooh!
in this book.
Before you start covering themes,
Okay.
something interesting that I learned
Ooh.
in school that was news to me was that when people talk about theme, they're often talking about the message or the moral of the story, but that is actually not what theme is.
What?
Yeah, even when I'm like looking up the definitions, a lot of it's like, oh, the message within the narrative, which I guess isn't entirely untrue, but what I learned is that it's more like the central topic,
Okay.
the subject,
Ooh.
versus like the moral, which would be like, don't lie to people. Like, that's a moral, right?
Okay. Sure.
But the theme would be, if we're really dumbing it down, the theme would be lying.
Okay.
So it's kind of an exploration of that subject is what the theme is versus the moral of the story. Like, if it's a story about how lying is going to screw you, then the moral would be lying is bad or you shouldn't lie.
Oh, okay.
Is that making any sense?
A little bit.
Okay.
It's slowly getting through to my brain.
All right. I'm interested to hear what you have to say about the themes in this one and whether they're actually morals.
Want to figure it out?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me. Hit me.
1. The political role of family. 2.
That's a theme?
Yeah. 2. Breaking the conventional female mold.
Okay. That's
3.
a theme.
The need for revenge.
4.
4. The struggles of identity. And 5. The importance of honor.
Ooh, yeah. These are great.
Yeah.
These are true
Let's go
themes.
into numero uno, the political role of family. The families in this series, as you know, and I know, are extremely large and tight-knit. And they provide their members with guidance, support, identity, status, and power.
Sorry. I just want to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. So, where did you get the info from?
Spark Notes.
Oh, this is Spark Notes.
SparkNotes.com.
Okay.
Spark Notes, you can go any book. I love it. I was like, whoa. Makes my life easier. Okay. Family allegiance is important. And different families that share close ties often function as a single clan. The various families of the North, for example, mostly act as a united front against the major families of the South.
Okay.
So these family alliances have a great deal of power, so social contracts like marriage that formally join families together are important in the politics of Westeros. For example, King Joffrey's betrothals. So he was initially betrothed to Sansa Stark as a way to unite their families, but when it became clear that their union no longer had political advantage, Joffrey was quickly engaged to Margaery Tyrell.
I remember trying to explain that to Eric when the point came in the show where he rejected Sansa for Margaery instead, and we did not sound this smart.
Neither of us. Well, I'm not that smart. But this was a great way of explaining it.
This is why I write, man, because I cannot articulate my thoughts when I'm speaking.
Yeah. For me, it takes me a while to write down my thoughts and then to edit it to make it sound smarter.
Yeah, and when I'm talking, I always feel like I'm not getting my point across.
Same. Yeah, I feel.
I love that we're the same on this.
I forget words.
Whose fucking idea was it to have a podcast?
Yours. All right.
Okay.
When these same social ties are broken, the results can basically be clan warfare. Yes. Robb Stark's decision to marry Jane Westerling instead of one of Lord Frey's daughters provoked the Freys to massacre the Starks in their allies at the Red Wedding.
That's a very much a cause and effect situation.
That is that theme explained. Political role family.
Love.
You love it?
Love it.
Agree?
I love politics.
Ooh. Alright. Are you ready for breaking the conventional female mold?
We've got Brienne. We've got Arya.
Daenerys.
True, we got
Cersei.
Daenerys. We got Cersei.
There's Catelyn. Even though she dead.
I love these women, man.
Yeah.
As characters.
As we both know, Westeros is a male-dominated world. Not just Westeros, Essos as well. Basically, this whole planet.
Yes.
Male monarchs rule the lands, and male advisors counsel them. Male knights fight their wars, and women are married off in order to secure lands and titles. So that's a woman's role in this world.
Property.
Male characters constantly threaten women with abuse, and many women are treated as property or sexual objects. So
we forgot Shay, too.
Fuck yeah, Shay! Daenerys is a strong-willed leader. Cersei wields significant power in King's Landing and is at times the actual ruler of Westeros.
True.
Arya has always been more interested in sword fighting than girly stuff like needlework, and she hates it when anyone suggests that she should behave more like a girl. Brienne also forgoes feminine roles, refuses to be dominated by any man. She's the only female soldier in Westeros that we have met so far, I think. And despite the verbal and sometimes physical abuse she suffers for her dress and behavior, she continues to behave as she wants and not as others think she should.
I think there is the Mormonts, and we've met a couple of
True.
Rob's lords, I guess, ladies from there.
Yeah.
So we have met some female soldiers before.
True. Yeah.
Yes.
And would you consider the hill tribes soldiers? Is there a woman in there?
No,
Probably
but only
fighters.
because with them being the hill tribes, I feel like they're just not, I put this in quotes, as civilized. So
Organized and disciplined? Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would want anyone who can fight to fight. And it's not so much about the gender roles, maybe.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know if I would point out their female fighters as being out of the norm, because I think that's normal for them. But in all of Westeros, I guess.
Also, there are some major female characters who play traditional female roles, but they use these roles to their advantage. For example, Cersei. She feels like she has to fulfill a conventional female role, even though she seems to wish that she was born a man. Mm-hmm. She thinks that she must always be beautiful, and she doesn't think that she would ever be able to rule Westeros openly, so she does it behind her sons. But she also uses men's perceptions of her as a sex object to her advantage, often manipulating them into doing what she wants in exchange for sexual favors, or even just the hope of them.
Right.
Which I've noticed, there's like a gold cloak or two who does things for her just because they like the idea of it.
Yeah.
And Catelyn Stark is a mother figure, and much of what she does in order to take care of her children, especially Robb. That need to protect her children is the source of a great deal of her strength.
True that. I like this a lot. This is a really cool breakdown.
It's informative.
Yeah.
Okay, the need for revenge. So, as the war progresses, the royal houses keep track of crimes and betrayals, and for each perceived misdeed, a character often seeks revenge. The need for revenge is so prevalent in the novel that it motivates a great deal of the novel's plot and serves as a driving force for several characters. And it also leads to the death of numerous characters.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So in some instances, revenge is sought for relatively minor infractions, like an insult to a character or a family's honor. So when Robb breaks his engagement to Frey's daughter, the Freys get their revenge by assassinating Robb and Catelyn Stark at the Red Wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Other instances, it comes from long-standing grievances, as when Tyrion vows vengeance against Jaime and then murders his father in revenge for their mistreatment of him and Tysha.
Did Tyrion vow vengeance against Jaime?
I don't think he did. He promised Jaime that he would fight him the next time they saw each other.
Oh, I guess so. And you could also argue that him saying that he killed Joffrey is a form of revenge, because that's him trying to hurt Jaime.
Yeah. In other cases, characters seek revenge for the murder of their friends or family members. So, as we just learned, a reanimated Catelyn Stark joins the Brotherhood to exact revenge on the Freys.
Ooh, revenge for revenge.
Revenge for revenge.
For revenge for revenge. Inception.
Arya lives obsessed with gaining vengeance on those who have hurt or killed her family and friends.
Oh yeah, she is like driven by it.
Her list of names that she recites every night. Tyrion's champion, Oberyn Martell, takes up the role to get revenge against Gregor
Oh,
Clegane.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So revenge exacted by one character causes another character to want retribution, which creates this cycle of revenge constantly, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, what I just said.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Revengeception.
Nah. The struggles of identity.
Ooh. Relatable?
So several characters endure struggles with their identities as events force them to reconsider how they think of themselves and what person they want to be.
Okay, we got Jaime. We got Jon. We got Sandor Clegane?
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he wasn't mentioned because he doesn't have a chapter.
Yeah.
That'd be cool if he was in there.
We got Rob, probably. We got, Bran, for sure.
Ooh.
Who else we got? We got, who's struggling with their identity?
It's like Tyrion there.
Dany, all the time.
True. Yeah.
She's always like, is this right? Should I be doing this?
Mm-hmm. And then she had to choose between Meereen and Westeros.
Mm-hmm. Jorah, probably?
Maybe, yeah.
Who else? I said Jon already, right?
Yeah. You can say him again.
Jon for a second time. Okay. I think I named everyone I wanted to name.
So Jon faces two struggles of identity. First, as he pretends to be a wildling, he finds himself fitting in amongst the wildlings more than he anticipated. And even as he breaks his vows to the Night's Watch by getting sexy time with Ygritte, ultimately he must decide whether he wants to become one of them or return to the Watch. And he struggles a great deal with this decision. Later, when he is offered the chance to rule over Winterfell by Stannis, and given the Stark name, but he would have to leave the Watch to do so. So this situation taps directly into the identity issues Jon had growing up, when he felt himself as not fully part of the Stark family. So he feels torn between two versions of himself, basically.
Right.
Another instance is Bran Stark coming to terms with his psychic abilities. Tyrion choosing to leave his family when he murders his father. And Jaime, the most notable, has built his entire life around his identity as a swordsman. But he loses that identity when his sword hand is cut off. So this event forces him to reevaluate his sense of self-worth and then to rebuild an identity more or less from scratch. So this challenge precipitates in him the most drastic change in character that we see in the novel. He evolves from an apathetic, seemingly honorless man into one who is deeply concerned with honor and duty.
I wonder if it was, like if George knew from the beginning that Jaime was gonna change, or if this kind of
just happened,
came out of the blue and he was like, oh shit, I should make him a perspective character now.
Ooh. Perhaps. He knew something was gonna happen without knowing what was gonna happen.
Maybe he knew that Jaime would, like, lose a hand at one point, but didn't know until he got there how much that would affect Jaime as a person. And then that maybe that.
He was planning on something else being happening to him, but when it got there, he was like, nah, they're gonna take his hand.
Yeah. Maybe he was gonna kill Jaime.
Ooh. We would have lost a good one. All right. The importance of honor.
Ooh, this one has been probably one of the biggest themes throughout the series so far.
For sure, especially with the Starks.
Yeah, with Ned and now Rob and Jon for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
His whole thing with the wildlings and with Ygritte and That's all about his honor as a member of the Night's Watch.
Yeah. Honor is a major motivating force in the book. Serves as one of the major ways in which characters are defined. Often the notion of honor is about preserving one's esteem in the eyes of others, just as much as it's about doing what's morally correct. So the phrase took Robb Stark's engagement to Jane Westerling as an affront to their honor, because it suggested that he held the phrase in low regard and didn't value them.
Right.
So that slight to their honor prompted the phrase to murder the Starks at the Red Wedding. So as Merrett Frey explains just before he's hanged in the epilogue, the phrase did it because they had to cleanse the stain on their honor, as he said.
Right. He's basically saying, like, we'd be a bunch of pussies if we didn't kill Robb for that.
Yeah, if they just accepted it.
Yeah, like, what does that make us if we're just like, okay, fine, you can screw us over anytime you want, and we'll just turn around and fucking take it up the ass.
Yeah. Understandable. So, similarly, when Robb decides that he has no choice but to execute Rickard Karstark for killing the two Lannister allies that they were holding prisoner.
Oh yeah, I forgot!
It's both because of Karstark's act was reprehensible, and two, that he killed unarmed boys.
In their beds.
While
they were asleep. Fuck.
Yeah. And because Karstark was publicly disregarding Robb's authority by acting on his own, as Robb puts it, Karstark killed more than a Freyna Lannister. He killed my honor.
Oof.
Robb chose to execute Karstark, a valuable ally and friend, because he deems his honor more important than Karstark.
I don't know if I would put it that way.
Yeah.
I'd maybe... Because if he chooses Karstark over his honor, then he looks weak to everyone.
Yeah. It'll lead for more disrespect.
Yeah, and it sets a dangerous precedent where people can disobey him and, yeah, exactly, do whatever they want, and he'll just turn over and bend over and take it up the ass and be cool with it. Like, no. He can't.
Oh.
And I guess there were other ways that he could have reprimanded him. So, yeah, I guess that's arguable.
I agree. Often, honor goes hand in hand with upholding one's vows, which is why Jaime is considered among the most dishonorable figures in Westeros.
Oh, yeah.
So he took an oath to protect King Aerys when he was first made a member of the Kingsguard.
And then gave it to him up the ass.
True that, exactly.
With his sword.
The title of Kingslayer serves as a testament to that lack of honor. So Jaime's transformation as he undergoes over the course of the novel centers on him realizing honor's value and then trying to restore it. Brienne of Tarth has suffered a similar dishonor in that she is widely suspected to have either killed Renly or conspired in his murder while part of his guard. So Jaime gives the sword Oathkeeper gives the sword Oathkeeper to Brienne and sends her to save Sansa as a way for both of them to regain some honor, since they both promised Catelyn they would find and save Sansa.
And Arya. So
Jaime literally says to Brienne in the book, Sansa Stark is my last chance for honor.
Oh shit. Jaime says that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He cares. There's feelings in that man.
Well, he cares about his honor.
Brienne is primarily motivated by honor. That's why she escorts Jaime back to King's Landing, despite her dislike for him and the great risk to herself. She promised Catelyn that she would, and so she does, whatever her personal feelings. Jon Snow is also motivated by honor to a large degree, thanks to his papa. A significant factor in returning to the Watch after living with the Wildlings, and then choosing the Watch for Winterfell so he made a vow. Honor demands that he stick to that vow, so he puts aside his personal feelings to uphold it. That's what I got for that.
That's everything?
You impressed? Yeah.
Perfect.
I did it.
Nicely done. You definitely carried. So this is a nice long finale episode. Finale for a Storm of Swords, and that's it. It's gonna be going back on the shelf now.
The end. Whoa.
Damn. All right. So, announcing our next book. What are we reading next, Jess?
A Feast for Crows.
Oh, shocker.
4. Shit, that means we gotta do the whole chapters again.
Ooh! That's like my favorite part. So in our next episode, we are going to be randomly selecting our characters again. So, is there going to be new perspective characters? Ooh.
Ooh.
No one's going to have to be Catelyn this time? Ooh.
Awesome. And this time, Sansa's chapters are going to be pretty cool, I think.
Oh yeah, we're going to be fighting for Sansa this time.
She's going to be learning under... what's his face?
The BBEG.
Yeah.
So look forward to that. And also real quick before we go, a shout out to our patrons, our lovely, awesome patrons, Tobias, Jake, Eric, and Bahram, who just had a baby.
Yay!
Congratulations, Bahram.
Congrats on the baby.
Congrats on the baby. You did it. You had a baby. All right. That's it for this one, I guess. Any last things you want to add?
I'm good.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast or follow us individually. My handle is Crimby and Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we will show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of the episode, and he makes some really cool music. That's Bahram. You can also find him on Spotify as Bahrambient. That's Bahrambient. And please check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, including outtakes, BTS stuff, and mini-episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he absolutely hates. So it makes for some fun discussions/arguments. Finally, if you would be willing to share the podcast with your family and your friends, it would be a huge help to us to grow the podcast. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one for Feast. Is that right?
Yeah, Feast for Crows.
Feast for Crows.
So dead bodies, basically, and lots of them.
My favorite.
Yes. Mine too.
Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.